All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to take some highly entertaining, almost humorous caveman metaphors from our source material and translate them into hard, absolutely actionable biological science. We're looking at this really fascinating breakdown of how our comfortable modern lifestyles are just actively draining natural testosterone and exactly how we can get it back using ancient proven biological principles. So get ready, we are unpacking what is essentially the ultimate survival guide for your hormones.
Okay, let's dive into this, because our source starts off with this incredibly blunt, honestly hilarious quote describing the very real reality of waking up with low testosterone. The caveman wakes up, looks down, and realizes the morning rock is missing. It's, well, soft like a super ripe banana. It's funny, for sure, but it points to a very real, very serious modern crisis. You know, when testosterone plummets, your baseline vitality just completely vanishes. Right out of the gate, the source goes after a massive modern misconception. Just forget the magic berry or some miracle pill. Biologically speaking, you literally cannot buy strength. Testosterone is earned through battle. It's synthesized by your own body as a direct result of the physical demands that you actually place on yourself day in and day out.
To build that strength naturally, our source lays out 4 distinct biological pillars: master sleep, destroy belly fat, lift heavy, and tame stress.
Let's start with Pillar 1, master sleep.
So this is the absolute foundational goal. Why? Because the vast majority of your testosterone is produced while you are sleeping, not when you're awake. The rules here are strict. You need 7 to 9 hours. You need complete darkness. Really seal the cave. You've got to stop eating fermented berries or heavy meals after sunset so digestion doesn't ruin your rest. Keep your sleep and wake times consistent, and make sure you see the morning sun immediately upon waking up to reset that internal biological clock.
Moving right along to Pillar 2, destroy belly fat.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how we usually think of belly fat. We tend to think of it as just inert stored energy, right? But actually, scratch that, it's highly active and it is dangerous. Deep inside gut fat lives this enzyme called aromatase. And guys, this is your testosterone's absolute worst enemy. Aromatase actively ruins your testosterone by converting it directly into estradiol, which is a female estrogen hormone. So more belly fat literally means more aromatase, which turns your hard-earned testosterone into estrogen, leading to, you guessed it, even more fat storage. It's a vicious cycle.
To escape this trap, the source targets an optimal body fat range of about 12 to 15%. This is the sweet spot where testosterone can really thrive without being eaten alive by aromatase. But a quick warning here, do not drop below 8%. If you do, your body basically thinks it's starving and hormone production just completely breaks down. On the flip side, if you're above 20% right now, the advice is to start by cutting about 300 to 500 calories daily to start shrinking that aromatase factory.
All right, on to Pillar 3, lift heavy.
This right here is where the battle happens. It's so cool how this works. Moving heavy weights actually tricks your body into believing it's in physical danger, which demands adaptation. This intense physical stress sends a loud signal to the hypothalamus in your brain. The hypothalamus then shouts down to the pituitary gland, telling it to release luteinizing hormone, or LH. That LH travels down and tells your body's manufacturing plants, the stones, if you will, to pump out testosterone. It's a literal chain reaction initiated entirely by mechanical tension.
But listen, you can't just do a few bicep curls and expect this massive cascade to happen. The source explicitly recommends large compound movements. We're talking squats, deadlifts, the bench press, rows, pull-ups, dips, and the overhead press. These specific exercises recruit massive muscle groups all at once, which sends the loudest possible survival signal to your brain. And you've got to dial in the intensity correctly. You actually need to lift heavy weights right in that sweet spot pocket of 70 to 85% of your maximum capacity. If you go too light, well, the body doesn't feel threatened enough to adapt. But if you constantly push to absolute failure at 100%, you risk completely frying your central nervous system. So the 70 to 85% range, that's the golden zone for safely forcing your body to prioritize muscle repair and optimize your hormones. Finally, we hit Pillar 4, tame stress. Our source essentially calls stress the ultimate demon, and it's all driven by cortisol. Now, biologically, cortisol is a totally crucial survival hormone. It's designed to give you a massive jolt of energy to escape a tiger, right? It's supposed to spike and then quickly drop. But modern reality, it keeps our cortisol chronically elevated. Bad sleep hygiene, overtraining, constant office drama, and staring at screens until midnight. All of this tells our bodies that the tiger is chasing us 24/7. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when that stress demon takes over. Chronically high cortisol constantly spikes your blood sugar and insulin. Over time, this totally breaks your metabolism, leading straight to, belly fat. And as we learned earlier, belly fat breeds aromatase, which converts your testosterone into estrogen. So the stress loop feeds directly into the belly fat loop, completely and utterly tanking your testosterone.
Which brings us to the core philosophy of our source. We can call it the caveman pattern. Everything is connected. You absolutely cannot isolate these pillars. Think about it. You can't go lift heavy boulders all day, but then sleep terribly and stare at glowing screens all night and actually expect your hormones to thrive. It just doesn't work. Sleep, diet, lifting, and stress management all directly impact one another. If just one pillar crumbles, the whole biological structure collapses. To fix your hormones, you have to fix the entire ecosystem of your lifestyle.
So, it all boils down to a really simple choice. You have the blueprint now. You know exactly how to sleep in the dark, starve the belly beast, lift heavy, and silence the stress demon. The question you have to ask yourself right now is this: are you actively building your strength to become a solid stone, or are you just sitting back, waiting for some magic berry, and letting the modern world drain your vitality away?